What's going on, guys? It's time for board games. This is Dice Squad. My name is Adam Campbell, and I'm Marshall Dice.
And I'm Todd Evangelista, and I'm General Dice.
And we are Dice Squad. Today, on the topic today is Red Dragon Inn. Red Dragon Inn. It's a pretty good game, right, Todd?
I have really enjoyed this game, yes. I've been playing it for years and years and years, and I've always enjoyed it.
Drinking, fighting, gambling.
Mm-hmm. And
Three simple
we actually met the Slugfest game crew at Origins. We go to Origins just about every year, and we met them, and they are very nice people. And I'm on the Slug crew, but are you?
No, not yet. I'm still working on it.
No. I haven't gotten anything out of it. I probably promote this game quite a bit, but you have to go on, when you're in the Slug crew, you have to go on the computer and and put stuff in, and I just never do that. So I never know when I'm going to run a demo of this game, because people come in and they say, well, hey, what's a good game? And I always present this one, and it's real easy to learn, and it's a very nice game. Why don't you tell them what it's about?
Well, it's very simple, really. You got about how many characters we got?
At this point, I believe they're up to 20 characters.
You got 20 different characters, and they all come back from an adventure, and they come to a local inn, and they're fighting, they're drinking, they're gambling, and the last one standing after all of that is the winner.
Yeah, and that's one of the keys. They give you a board.
Two boards.
And on this board, you have the numbers from 0 almost in a circle up to 20, and you put a red marble on a red marker on the 20. That's your health, and you put a clear marker on the 0, and that's your alcohol content. And as you get punched, you lose your fortitude, your health, and it goes down. And as you drink your drinks, your alcohol goes up. And if those two tokens should ever meet, sometimes they'll meet in the middle, sometimes they'll meet over high on fortitude, sometimes they'll meet on low on alcohol, but if they ever meet, you go unconscious, and all your friends steal your money. And that's why it's fun. There's...
tell me more.
Yeah, I'll tell you more. What's really nice about the board, too, is it tells you how to play the game. You have each character has a deck. Why don't you show them the deck? Each character has a deck of cards that they draw from, and that deck is specific to them. So if you're playing Serena, the Orcish Paladin, you have a deck of cards that all say Serena the Pious. And then you have a discard area, and you have a drink me pile. And right in the middle, it has your turn order. You're going to start with 7 cards. Then you look at your cards, you discard any cards you don't like, then you draw back up to 7. Then you play an action card. There are 3 basic types of cards: action cards, sometimes cards, and anytime cards. Anytime cards can be played at any time. Usually those are to heal you, maybe to make somebody else spend some money, to tip the wench. There's a wench in this game, but she's not. You can't play her.
Not yet.
She's got she usually takes most of the money. Then you have sometimes cards, which can be played in reaction to something happening. So it'll say, buy more drinks for your friends, only during the drink phase.
I don't think so.
There's I don't think so, which stops sometimes cards, but it can only be played sometimes. And then the most cards you're going to use are the action cards. These are cards which will maybe hurt somebody for 2 fortitude. Our favorite is probably Dance with Gog, because Gog is a half ogre and he does 4 damage from dancing with him.
Yeah.
And that's the key to the game, is it never seems like the people are intentionally hurting you. Oh yeah, oh, my string broke. 2 damage. So sorry. Look out. That's not healing potion. That's contact poison.
Good thing I was wearing my great grandfather's helmet.
That's a sometimes card. That would be too. Sometimes cards will also defend you against people punching you or whatever they're doing to you. And those are, but the ones that are straightforward, do something, is an action card. You play that next. Then there's a drink deck. And the drink deck has all different kinds of drinks in it. You're going to be running a tab with the inn, and that drink deck will sit there. If it ever runs out, then you have to pay up. Everybody pays 1 gold, and they have really nice gold coins that they use. They're cardboard, but they really look nice and they get the job done.
Got plenty of them.
Yeah, and you start with 10 of them, and you don't want to run out of that gold because you'll get thrown out of the inn and you'll be out of the game. And after you buy a drink, you take a drink from the drink deck, put it in this area of a person's card area, and drink me pile. Then you drink from your own drink me pile. And if there's ever not a card there to drink from, you sober up one. But there's always a card there. And that's pretty much it. You just try and stay alive. Last one standing is the winner.
So I guess really saying is that Slugfest is a great company. A lot of games. Actually, it was founded back in 2002, and it's been going strong ever since. It's got so many different games. I'm gonna look at my list here. It's got Red Dragon in 1, 2, 3, and 4. You got High Noon Saloon.
Yeah.
Fishing for Terrorists, Tiki Mountain, and also Red Dragon has also been given different RPGs, Guide Inns and Taverns, and Gambling I'm In.
Well, Gambling I'm In is a separate game. It can be added into Red Dragon Inn if you want to, but it's also just card games that you can gamble with. We have played High Noon Saloon. We really enjoy that one. It's maybe not the most. Some of these characters you have to realize are not always balanced. Also, one of the things we should say is there are 4 expansions, but you don't have to start with expansion 1.
Right.
I let this game sit on my shelf for a year because I had expansion 2 and I thought I needed expansion 1 to play. And then, I just didn't want to get into it, but somebody at a convention showed me how to play, and I've been playing it ever since. I usually recommend buying, if you were going to get into it, start with expansion 2. It has a lot of great characters. It has Eve the Illusionist, Fleck the Bard, who is my favorite, but most people hate him because he's so weak. It has Gog, who is the half-ogre, who's always funny, and his cards read in like a broken English, so always funny to read. And Dimly the Dwarf, and that's probably your favorite is Dimly the Dwarf.
Hey, Dimly the Dwarf.
And we try and change it up too. We try and have different voices for it. I started doing Fleck as a French, as "Oh, Sacre Bleu, you've injured me. I am so unhappy. Oh, Sacre Bleu, my string, it broke. You sat on my tuning fork." But lately I've been more into making up songs. When people say, when he has things that say, "I made a song about you, you have to pay up." I just rattle off something that tells people how terrible they are, and then you have to pay me a gold. So I always find that funny, but I usually don't win with him. I've won a few times, but.
So what's your general? What's your earliest memory of Red Dragon, and you can remember it?
Well, I picked it up off the shelf, and we had it, but every time there was like a kid, and we were like, "Oh, drinking game? I don't know if we want to get that. We want to do that thing. Maybe we should have play a different game." And so I just didn't play it right away, and. When I learned how to play it, though, I won the game. I was Fiona the Volatile, the Amazon, and and it was just very fun. I battled against Deirdre. We were trying to have a quick game. We were in between games at a con, and somebody said, "Hey, have you ever want to learn how to play Red Dragon Inn?" And I said yes, and then I started showing. I think I showed it to you, didn't I?
Right. Yeah, I remember that. It was you. We had played board games for a few weeks, and you had shown me, "Hey, I got this cool board game, Red Dragon Inn." And I said, "Oh, what's that?" He says, "Fighting, drinking, and gambling." I said, "All right, why not?" So I remember we sat down one night, and it was between you and me, and I had Dimly the Dwarf. Mm-hmm. And because I remember I got this because I play World of Warcraft, and I was thinking dwarfs, and I got this accent, and I was Dimly the Dwarf, and we were like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I'm improvising. It's and so that was the running thing, is that every time we'd play, is that we'd make up different names for our different voices for each character, and it was really cool. And then I remember I told my friend, my friend Mike, I said, "Dude, I got this awesome game. I think you got to play it." And he's like, "I don't know, man." And then he started playing it, and then his girlfriends came in and started playing it, and then
she played Magic, so she was a natural for it.
Oh yeah,
because it's not a deck building game. You already have a deck all set up, and then you just play it the best you can. But in a way, Magic is the same. Somebody can construct a deck for you, and you can play it the best you can. And this is kind of like that. So she was a natural with it.
Then you had your friend Eric, who came in and just started, and then
and he likes it a lot. We've had some very close battles. I remember Eric. It came down to Eric and your brother. And I don't know exactly how it happened, but in this game, the actions have to run their course before you pass out. And so your brother did something that would knock him out, but he played a sometimes card which knocked your brother out. So it was a tie between the two of them, but there was no winner.
Right.
And we've had some really close battles too, some seesaw battles, because you get say for instance Dimly, mm-hmm. and you're almost knocking him out, but he has a card that says "herb that hit the spot," which uses alcohol.
One of my favorites.
Uses alcohol to heal himself way back up, and so once he heals back up, then you got to start taking him down again, and you can have like a real seesaw battle, or somebody can come back from nearly being dead. How about the one where I played the troll, and you and Mike were battling it out, and I was just like, I can help you out with my potion here. I can help you out. I'm nearly dead, but don't kill me, because I got this potion, and it'll help you sober up. Oh, here, Mike, you can have this, and I'll heal you up with this potion. And I was taking money left and right, and then eventually you guys killed yourselves, and I was the only one left.
Yeah, and I kept telling everybody as soon as we play, I said, "Don't let him win. You think he's going to get in your mind? He's going to play with you. He's going to say, 'Hey, here, let me help you out here. Let me be your friend.' And he's going to stab you in the back."
Yeah, it's not really a negotiation game, but I find that if you have three people, there's a lot of negotiation going on.
Yeah, tell me about
it. Well, let's talk about this. We have both started this game with a lot of new players.
Right.
And we've already said we would recommend buying 2 first if you're going to get into the game. Then I would say buy 3.
Well, I disagree with you, because 3 is very it's much more complicated, because each one has their own individual decks.
Mm-hmm.
Like
you have 2 decks. There's Wulfric and
Kaylin has Wulfric, her companion. Frank has his potions.
Oh, wait. We gotta say, Kaylin is the cutest character in the whole thing. She's a little fairy who has a big wolf to help her. And I think she's really the cutest one. But then like Frank is...
I like Eve more than the little pixie, but that's just me.
But Frank is a potioner. He's a troll. He's a potioner. So he has 2 decks. He has a potion deck, and he has his own deck. Serena, she has a little thing that you keep track of her piety. As she does things that aren't pious, she goes down in piety, and because she's so far down, her cards change. So that's kind of yeah, I can see where they're a little more complicated. Kaylin has her deck plus the Wolf's deck.
I would go more of you buy the second one first, then the first one, then you go 3, and then you go 4.
But see, the thing of it is that for the first and second ones, the drink deck is fairly vanilla. When you get into the third one, you get the Gambler's Grog, which says it's 4 alcohol, which nobody wants to take 4 alcohol. But you can pay 2 gold to the inn to pass that to somebody else. It has the Pixie Punch, which I like. It has the I think they all have holy water. They all have something good in it. But I think the third one has about 5 more cards in that drink deck, and I always use the drink deck from the third one. I wish they would even that out, actually, but so that everything had because the first one and the second one have Troll Swill, and you don't get a troll character who changes how he takes that drink until the third one. If you're not a troll, if you drink Troll Swill, you lose 1 fortitude to gain 1 alcohol. But if you are a troll, you gain 2 alcohol. And they always had that on the card, but they never had, for 5 years, they didn't have a troll character. Same thing with Orcish. There's Orcish Rotgut. Right. You take 2 damage when you drink it, but if you're an orc, you take 2 alcohol. So, I don't know. I like the drink deck there, but yeah, I can see. And 4 adds a ship deck.
I think that the biggest one that's come out of all 3 is the release of number 4. I mean,
we previewed that at Origins.
I actually got to meet. Fun story for our listeners here is that I went to Origins Game Fair last year, game convention, and I actually got to meet the president and the game designers of Red Dragon Inn. And actually got them to sign one of their glasses. It was kind of cool, and we actually got to see the whole demo deck of Red Dragon Inn 4, along with the 2 new companions. I think we forgot to talk about as well.
Yeah. Oh, well, yes. Okay, so I kickstart as soon as I had a chance to demo the game at Origins. I went home and I kickstarted it. I must have been one of the last people to get in on the Kickstarter. But I got not only the 4th edition, I also got the 2 characters, the Barbarian and
Frank's daughter.
Frank's daughter, the Witch Doctor, and the reason I wanted that Barbarian is because that's the one I play tested. And they're very good, but again, as you go in 3 and you get 4, things get a little more complicated. Instead of just having a drink deck in 4, they also add a sea deck, which is things that instead of being in the inn, you're drinking on their boat, and where you are on the boat, what area, you can have something bad happen to you at sea. And it's not that difficult. It's not that much complexity added, but it's really not one you would want to give to a new player. In fact, let's talk about what characters we do give to new players. When you start out, you want somebody who's straightforward because, first of all, we've played all the characters, we know all the cards, so we know what we're doing.
Right.
But the other people, if you're just new, you're reading the cards, trying to figure out what they do. And when I start a new person, I usually try and give that person Gog. He's funny. All he does is punch people, and he has a little bit of gambling. But if
he's kind of like the Hulk.
Yeah, he's just all he does is punch people and laugh at things, and that's a very straightforward.
Puny God.
Yeah, that's a very straightforward character, and you don't have to. If you're just learning the game, you don't have to fuss with him much. Next, I would say Dimly or Fiona. Again, they punch and defend. They have a little more defense than GOG does, but also they're very straightforward. Dimly a little more complicated than Fiona because some of his her healing is just she heals. His healing is he's got to drink a big drink that would give him 5 or 6 alcohol, and then he heals all the way back up. Then I would say Eve. Eve is a very balanced character. She has she doesn't do much damage, but the stuff she does really is hard to stop.
Oh yeah.
So if she gives you, look into my eyes, you're getting drunker. You take that 1+1 alcohol. There's not many ways to stop it.
Or the illusionary coin.
Illusionary coin. So when she gambles, she doesn't even have to risk anything. So I would say those are the ones I picked for new players. As far as for advanced players,
WizGilly.
WizGilly is the steampunk gnome of the character group, and she has a gear deck as well as her regular character cards. But again, that's some very complicated cards. She has one of the only cards that can stop a drink card, but she does it by going back in time.
Right.
So
actually, I've used that a few times. It's actually got me out of a few sticky situations.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the best cards. But if you were to just pick that card up and read it, it's got almost more text than there is card, because it's just if this happens, then this happens. If this happens, then this happens. And once you should always play with somebody experienced too, because I think having somebody to adjudicate problems. So a lot of times you have somebody plays the wench thinks you should be playing with the drinks. Well, that means it's stopping a card where you're trying to get out of drinking your drink. And they say, okay, no, you can't. I'm going to stop that card. Well, the other person always plays wench thinks you should stop playing with the drinks. Well, no. It says right on the card that it can only be stopped by I don't think so. And if you have somebody who knows what they're doing, though, okay, the wench thinks you should stop playing with the drinks. That stopped the one card, but you could play another card if you had it.
Right.
Or you could play I don't think so to stop the card that was played on you. And if you have somebody to adjudicate that, I think it's a little easier until you know your way around. But it's surprising how quickly people learn and they get the hang of it. But I've really enjoyed the game. We always try and add a little role playing to it. I've shown this game to. Well, I work at a game store, so we had a family come in. Young girls, and mom, dad. And what can we all play together? Well, we showed them Forbidden Island, we showed them Forbidden Desert, we showed them things like that. But, and then when they heard about Red Dragon Inn, they weren't too keen on it. But then I showed the parents, and they really got into it. And so they ended up, taking...
Well, most people I show this game to, their first thought is that, it's drinking, it's fighting, it's gambling, I don't want... Are we really going to have to drink? It's a real drinking game. And I say to them, no, it's cards. You don't have to worry about getting drunk or getting pulled over. And where were you tonight, son? Oh no, don't worry about. I was just playing a board game.
Yeah.
There's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, it's. I don't think it's a game that promotes drinking, because every time you drink, it's doing something horrible to you. Some of the drinks are on fire.
Well, yeah.
The flaming dragon breath or whatever. Oh yeah, but you know who? We showed it to your mom, and she was not too into it. In fact, she was gonna punch me for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's for a different episode. That's a different episode.
But I don't think I've had most people really enjoy it. Even if they don't like card deck building type stuff, you don't have to build these decks. You just play the character.
It's ready to go. It's not like you have to
Yeah.
take it like 20 minutes. Like you create character, get special talents and
Mhm.
alcohol level. All right, we can play now. Half an hour later.
Yeah, and one thing we should mention is when you have all these characters, everything is compatible, so you can play all the characters together. But as soon as you get past 6 players, you really should split into 2 groups because there's too much downtime.
Well, I was going to say the nice thing about this is that there's no really like 3 to 4, like most board games you have like 5 to 4 players you can play. This one you can have as many people as you actually wanted to play. I mean,
you can now have up to 20 players.
We had what? We had a 10 person game going?
10-person game. That's what convinced me though that you should break. You should
Or
break into
I think the
groups.
coolest part though
We
was
should have broken up into a 4, a 3, and a 3.
well,
and then had a playoff.
Well, I think the coolest thing about that though was the fact that some cards, like if you got dealt damage, some characters can deal damage back to you. So if we had one person do like 2 damage to one person, or like to everybody, they could then bounce the damage back to you. You get like 40 damage back to you, and it'd be like turn 1 and you're dead. I thought that's one of the cool parts.
Or normally if you there's a card that says, "Are you up to the challenge?" Drink 2 drinks from the drink deck, and take their damage, and then everybody has to pay you a gold. Well, 4 or 5 gold, that's pretty good money. But in a 10-player game, it's 10 gold. But as soon as you get a huge stack of gold, you are a target.
You have a big target painted on your face.
Because what happens is if the people can knock you out, then you take half your stack of gold and you give it to the inn, and you take the other half and you divide it evenly amongst the other people. So they're thinking, wow, you've got a lot of gold there, and I don't have that
take some
much.
off your hands there.
I don't have that much. I think what we need to do is knock you out so we split that money up. And that can be a real problem.
I think the one thing that I think improvement-wise that I would like to talk about is the fact that there is no place you can store your coins when you get the game.
Yeah.
I mean, you can store them in the box, but
It's a pretty good insert, really. But as soon as you should really sleeve your cards because you're going to be using them a lot, and then they don't really fit in there, and then the as you can see, everything comes out of its spot. You should have, it wouldn't be that hard to have like a roll of quarters.
Well, I think that the cool thing that when we played one night, your friend gave you this box that you kept all your gold in, and we used that all the time.
It's just a simple box, and that becomes the inn, and you can just throw your coins in there.
It's the Winch's College Fund.
One of the the Winch's College Fund. But the other thing we also had was we talked to one of the game designers, or maybe one of the play testers, and he said that he had a big beer mug that they threw the coins in. But I think that would be hard to get them out. Somebody else said they had a almost like a lamp from Aladdin with no top on it, so you can throw coins in there, almost like a gravy boat, and you could throw coins in there. That was pretty good.
Well, I think also one of the other things I was going to talk about was, do you remember the time that we were at, I think it was 2 years ago at the convention, and when we started playing, we didn't know we could sober up one up there. We didn't have a drink.
Yeah.
And I remember the guy told us, yeah, you sober up one, and we're like, what? you could sober up in this game because you're pounding down beers and all kinds of other drinks.
It's pretty easy to heal, but it's hard to sober up. But thinking about it, it just doesn't happen that often because people make sure you have a drink on your spot. Like as soon as that's missing, you gotta have a drink there.
It's on me. Don't worry about it. It's on me.
Now I guess I have almost everything that they have to offer at Slugfest games. If you like role-playing, we should talk about the Guide to Inns and Taverns. You would say, well, it's not an adventure. How am I going to use it in my Dungeons and Dragons, my Pathfinder? It's amazing. They put so much detail into the inn and the tavern, and they give you 3 examples, and they detail everything at the Red Dragon Inn and all the things that can happen there, all the different rooms, the secret back rooms that you can have your dealings in. So if you wanted to role play, you've got a lot there that could be used as a base or for an adventure. They have magic items that you wouldn't use as in part of your adventure, but that ordinary people would like to have. Basically a refrigerator, but it's just basically a refrigerator. But that kind of detail was really, really nice. I highly recommend that for anybody role playing. Also, the detail that they put into that, they're going to be putting into the histories of all the characters. So you're going to have the history of why is he Dimly the dwarf, not Dimly the fighter,
right?
And things along those lines. Gambling, I'm in. I liked it. I read the rules, but never got a chance to play it, so I can't really comment on it. But it's one of those things where, oh, this looks fun. I read the rules. Let's try it. Well, let's wait a while, and then you have, oh, let's play that game. I have to read the rules. I forgot all about them. So, but some of the games are fairly simple in there. It can be added to the game. Okay, let's talk about improvements to this game. I would like, you know,
bank.
Yeah, a bank, but they've had some things that you could only get through their website or at their conventions. For instance, they made glasses that look like the glasses in the game, and that are very nicely drawn, very detailed, and you could get them but I think you had to go to a restaurant, the Marriott restaurant or something, and it was only at Gen Con that you could get them. But I thought that was a nice idea. What I would like to see is a make your own. They don't have anything online or anything, just to print your own cards or something. You don't have to. It wouldn't take real cards. You could actually just cut up your own and try and make different types of characters. I'd like to see something like that, and then maybe even as a contest, they could have it on their website. Who has the best character?
That'd be kind of cool.
But it would be nice to make your own drinks, because sometimes the drink deck, seeing the drinks again and again and again, seeing new ones makes it a little funner than just dark ale, light ale,
water, coffee.
Yeah, but when that holy water comes up, everybody loves that because it heals you too. So everybody goes, ah, holy water.
I'm sorry. One more time.
Always nice for the audio side of the game. And I think I've been playing it for not since 2002, but 2003, 2004, and perhaps. And I haven't gotten tired of it yet. Anybody wants to play this game, I'll pull it out. I'll play it. So and I like a 2-on-2 game, but also I like if you have that negotiation aspect among 4 people, or between 2 people, and then the third player kind of I'm not in that, and they stay alive for long enough to come back and kill the victor of the overall battle, things like that.
So so I guess in closing, let's your final verdict on the game.
Oh, can't go wrong.
On a scale like, let's say 10's the highest, 1's the lowest. What would you give it? What would your score this game?
I don't know. I'd give it an 8.5 at least. It's one of my favorite games. I would say it's in my top 20 of games that I've played.
I'd give it a 9 out of 10. It's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. I could go 9. I could go 9.
All right.
But yeah, it's always in my top 20, and probably had, of the 100 people that I've taught how to play this game, probably had maybe 5 not really like it that much. But so that's pretty good.
It's pretty good. So let's talk about next episode. What we're going to talk about, General?
I say we have to talk about Kingsburg.
Kingsburg. You have quite the story about Kingsburg. I think next episode.
Kingsburg, also one of my favorite games. Giving away the review right there, but it's one of my favorite games, and I'm always up for Kingsburg.
All right. Well, this is Marshall Dice
and General Dice,
and we are signing off. Later.